if y'all would just bear with me a minute. What I would like to do is for Miss Moss as well. You know, we do have the picture from Parker. I'd like to have that on as well. Taking too long. I apologize for that to Miss Moss. Okay, I'm Wayne Fisher with the Warner Robins Police Department, Chief of Police. Spelling my first name, W-A-Y-N-E. F-I-S-H-E-R is spelling of the last name. What we're here about today is to speak to the community and the media as a whole, let you know where we're at in regards to 2 function points. But we'll deal with them each individually because they are very sensitive and significant in their own rights as well. First, I wish to thank Ms. Moss for being here. Parker is not forgotten, and I appreciate your patience, understanding, and there's deep appreciation for the suffrage that you and the family have been undergoing through the time of which this has been taking place. I do have Parker's picture here. I'll place it up onto the front. So if you're fine with the media at some point, they'd like to get a photo as well. The original release of the homicide investigation involving Parker was on January 22nd, 2018. And dealing with an aggravated assault armed robbery that took place at Barberitos at 3123 Watson Boulevard, this city. During that time, the investigation took place underneath the administration that was in charge at that point in time, and a person of interest was identified through that. The case was built in and around that person of interest, and it was circumstantial into its nature. There was enough evidence, though, present at that time for the DA's office to present the indictments and start moving forward onto the prosecution. Subsequently, after that, though, Lieutenant Clark can answer to the timeline onto that, exculpatory evidence was found in the possession of another party. Based off of that and the policies of the Warner Robins Police Department, where now you had a potential other party involved into the homicide, the investigation shifted into trying to make the direct line point between either of the 2 offender points, persons of interest. Based off the nature of the case and the evidence that's at hand and the purpose of what we're doing now, we are not divulging the evidence or the names of the persons because that is not to be with the intent to taint any other evidence that people might try to bring forward, so we can value it out as to its veracity of what's being presented. So please be patient and understanding as to why we will be limited into what we are presenting here. But the city of Warner Robins is an understanding point with many of our cold cases that we have, and with Parker's family being the most recent which that we're working with diligently, that the victims are not lost, they are not forgotten. We take it personal that we are not be able to bring a resolution to these prosecutions and cases based off the evidence points that we have, and we'll continue to work forward with that. But we also understand we cannot do it by ourselves and alone, and it is a community effort point that is needed in regards to helping to build this case forward. That there may be persons that have knowledge of the activities that took place on January 22nd, 2018 at Barberitos that would be pertinent to the ongoing investigation and to help, again, us close the case out for Parker's homicide and be able to bring that to a point of trial. We have worked with outside partner sources with the Georgia Department of Corrections, the digital forensics. We've contracted with companies on digital forensics as well, utilizing the current technologies and trends that were existence 2 years ago that were not present back in 2018. And we have also engaged with the Federal Bureau of Investigation for assistance where we can onto that investigation point. We understand that it is not necessarily an investigation that will be solved solely through our efforts, but through the efforts of our law enforcement partners, the cooperation with the family, and again, the cooperation from the community in which we have put the media release out addressing for the cold case itself. And at this point in time, I'll turn this over to Lieutenant Clark.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. Of course, with it being an open investigation to protect the integrity of the investigation, we can't give out everything, but I'd like to remind everybody a couple of key points in the case. So as far as suspect, we're looking at black male, 5'10" to 6 foot. At the time, he had a revolver, entered the business through the rear and the field foot. Again, you know, there's only so much that forensic evidence can do and that, you know, testimony can do, but, you know, we appeal for the public to be able to give us a call, let us know something, let us know what's going on. You know, these people, you know, anytime somebody commits a crime, they talk. There's always friends, there's always family members, they always talk to somebody, so we're appealing to somebody to come talk to us about it. Parker's case is the one that's highlighted today. There's also 13 other homicides and missing persons that are also considered cold cases at this time. They're reviewed and investigated, you know, on a consistent basis. Those will be released as well over the coming weeks. And we just ask that anybody in Parker's case, in any of these cold cases, that if you have any information at all, if you know anything, it might seem trivial, just contact us, let us know. We will absolutely talk to you. And the smallest, you know, thing that you don't necessarily think that would be the thing that solves a case, sometimes it's the thing that solves a case. So please contact us. We'll sit down and talk with you and, you know, see if we can get some resolution to some of these families.
Again, as Lieutenant Clark, again, you have to take into consideration the times at which some that were available at that point for which law enforcement down, such as to look at the promulgation of the advancements in DNA and heavily into sides in regards to what we can glean in. I wish for everybody in the Romulus Police Department understands the sensitivity and the understanding of your frustrations into this process point.
Very frustrating.
Yes, ma'am. The other point of which we're here for today is discussion about Operation Lay It Down. Operation Lay It Down, this is the second iteration of it. It is a point that was brought from a homicide that took place back in February 2 years ago off of Margie Drive. In that particular case incident, which is still going through process, we had a 13-year-old juvenile in possession of a firearm that was later found to have been stolen, exercised that weapon into a situation in which a 14-year-old juvenile was killed from that. The Warner Robins Police Department is working in partnership within the community to provide a venue point. Again, this is the second year that we're doing this. For any parent or responsible party head of household that if they happen to find or come into possession of a firearm that's in the house that they know is not theirs, they don't know what to do with, but they know that if it stays in that positional point that tragedy could occur, and we're trying to avert these, that we're providing a venue point, same as last